Well, good morning. This is Marcos with Practice Profitability. And today we have Maria Capuano. Hopefully I said that correctly. From Quality ABA. So we're really excited to talk to her today about her business doing ABA therapy and kind of what her mission and passion is. So Maria, tell me a little bit about what you guys do, like what your mission is, that sort of thing.
Well, Marcos, thank you for inviting me onto your platform. This is exciting. It's my first podcast. Um, so can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about Quality ABA, what you guys do.
Sure. So I started Quality ABA in the pandemic, August of 2020. Basically, I started it out of a need that I was working for a horrible company that was committing insurance fraud and just not doing ethical practices. And I interviewed and interviewed, even interviewed out of state, and I just couldn't find a place that met my values. Um, so I started my own company. And then I got fired from her company, and I had no choice but to go. So I've been working with kids and adults with autism and special needs since I was 19. So I just feel like it was natural for me to do something. I always wanted to just help people. That's all I ever wanted to do. So,
Gotcha. So some people might not be sure what ABA is. Could you explain that, assuming someone who doesn't know?
sure. So, ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. And basically, it's the science of behavior. So, what we do is we go into different families' homes that has a child diagnosed with autism, and we just break down tasks into smaller segments until they can do the complete task on their own or with little assistance because they just learn differently. So, they just need things broken down into smaller segments in order to learn the how to do things.
Is that just around like tasks? Does ABA work with the social issues that people with autism might face as well?
Yes, so we target like communication skills, ADL skills, social skills, community skills. A lot of those are deficits for our kiddos. So we also work very collaboratively with the families to see what it is they would like to work on as well.
And what type of age ranges do you typically work with?
We take anybody from I would say age of like 1.5, 2, to all the way to 18.
Okay. So mostly pediatric. You don't do work with the younger adults, that sort of thing.
Correct. Yes.
So, and is it individualized the way you do the therapy, or do you do group settings? Like, how does it work there?
So we don't have a clinic, so we work individually with each family and each client.
And let me ask this. About how many clients do you service, like on a monthly, yearly basis, that sort of thing? And what's the length and breadth of the work that you do? Probably individualized.
So we have about 50 clients, and we get authorizations from our insurance company because we're insurance based. So the authorizations typically last for about 6 months and then re up them. Some kids need longer time to learn their skills, and other kids learn them quickly. So it really is varied individually.
So is it just mostly with children with autism, or can these skills be applied to, like, let's say ADHD, that sort of thing? I'm just curious.
So it can be applied to other disabilities. However, insurance will only cover for autism and Down syndrome currently. Down syndrome is new in the past couple months, so that's very exciting. A lot of times we have kiddos with autism and they also have dual diagnoses. So they also have ADHD. So we're already applying it to most of those kids. And then sometimes they have like seizure disorder or diabetes or, there's other factors that are in there as well.
Yeah, I have a 2E child, so I get it. Twice exceptional. So
Uh-huh.
I understand that many times there's lots of bleed over between, autism and ADHD and even giftedness, that sort of thing. So, and what's the size of your team?
I have 6 BCBAs plus myself. I'm a BCBA. I have about 20 BTs, RBTs. So an RBT is a registered behavior technician.
Okay. So can you explain the difference between the two?
Sure. So a behavior therapist is somebody who has a high school diploma or higher. And the registered behavior technician does a 40-hour course. And then they take a test with the board and they become board certified as a behavior technician.
Got it. So the work that you do is probably a combination of the two, the registered versus the independent.
Yes, but we encourage everyone to become a registered behavior technician because insurance companies are starting to only allow registered behavior technicians to deliver direct services to the clients.
And is the work that you do, is it like weekly, like twice a week? Like what's the frequency of the work?
Again, that varies from client to client. We have some clients who only have once a week, some clients who gets 5 days a week. It really varies depending on their need and availability. I mean, if they're not going to be available for 5 days a week, but they might need it, we're not going to deliver those services. So, like I said, it really varies depending on client to client. We can deliver anywhere from 30 hours a week to a client to like 4 hours a week.
Okay, got it. So the minimum's about four. Even if it's once a week, you're going to go there for a pretty large chunk of time.
3 to 4 hours, yeah, if it's once a week.
Makes sense. I hate to dig too much into this, but you mentioned insurance a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about some of the challenges you've had with insurance with this type of therapy.
They're like the biggest roadblock ever, especially if you're in Massachusetts. Mass Health is known to just switch their Mass Health program. So there's Mass Health, it's like if you think of it as an umbrella, is the biggest umbrella. And then you have different ones that come down from there that are still part of Mass Health, but they're also considered a different entity. So what will happen is Mass Health will be like, oh, you're not going to have Tufts Mass Health anymore. You're going to have WellSense Mass Health. And then that's a totally different authorization you need to get. So it makes things very challenging. Something else I would say that's challenging is getting consistency, getting some staff that have good work ethic and are passionate about this and not just for a job because you don't get paid for cancellations. So finding those people that are really passionate about helping people can be very challenging. And I find in this Generation Z that they haven't established their work ethic yet. It's been very difficult in that regard. Something else I think is a challenge is that we have big box companies that also have. What I mean by a big box company is somebody who's funded by another entity. So they don't really know about ABA and they're not passionate about ABA, but they have the money to continue to fund what's happening, the services. So what happens is you conduct services first and then you bill an insurance company. So if there's a problem with that billing when you deliver those services, our staff already got paid. So we have to almost like pay our staff before we get paid. So that can make things very challenging, especially for a
Sure.
smaller company.
Uh, cash flow challenges are always difficult in any business, and
Okay.
especially when it's retroactively paid by insurance. That's extremely difficult. And as we know, insurance companies are not rushing to strike to write out checks. It's just not
No,
their thing.
you have to fight for it sometimes.
So when did you start Quality ABA? I didn't quite get the date.
August of 2020.
August 2020. Okay. And tell me a little bit about the growth of the business. Like, I know you kind of forced into it. You were thinking about it, but you're
Uh-huh.
forced into it. Tell me how you got from where you started to where you are today.
So I started doing everything. I was the BCBA, I was the direct support person, I was the billing person, I was the authorizations person. I started out as a one-man show. And then I hired so that was August till about uh, April of 2021. And then I hired my first BT. And um, and then the following year of 2022, I hired another BCBA. So I have definitely grown significantly from August of 2020 doing everything by myself to not having a caseload at all and just running the business.
What do you feel like was your key hire, like the thing that helped you grow?
Honestly, just getting my name out there and getting people to see that there's a new business out here that is really passionate about helping people and making a difference.
So, do most of your incoming clients come from referral, or how do you?
So they'll come from driving by. I have a pretty good location where they can see. They'll come from insurance referrals. They'll come from other, clients that will refer. I have a Facebook page, so we advertise a lot of our sessions on there to be able to promote what ABA is and to disseminate the science, because there are some people who don't believe that it's helpful. They think that it's hurting people, probably because of past experience or things that they've heard. Yeah, so I think that's probably the most, is just like word of mouth and referrals.
So, what would you tell someone if someone had a negative perception about ABA? And tell me why quality ABA is different, why they should trust you.
So I would first ask them why. I mean, did they have a personal experience that is making them believe this? Because if that's the case, which is a lot of times that is the case, because in the 80s, ABA was very strict. You're going to sit here and you're going to do this work and you're not going to get up until this time. And now the field has evolved dramatically. So we go from Lovas, who, created this, sitting at a table and very structured, strict routine, to Hanley, to assent based ABA, which means that we're just getting approval from the client to be able to implement the strategies that we would like to do. So if they're running away or if they're crying, we kind of have a little more empathy and compassion about that. And we step back and try to figure out why, without making it aversive. We're trying not to make our processes aversive. So I think just showing people and explaining how ABA has evolved, because we're kind of a new field, honestly. So we have to grow, we have to learn, just like any other field, practices change, you other places, like if you're a plumber, you get new tools that make it easier, and so it's the same thing. I feel like in ABA is just that it's more known because we're dealing with people.
And there has to be a little bit of flexibility too, right? Like, you
Yes.
could have five different clients in, a week, and every one of them needs a different approach.
Yes, absolutely.
And where do you kind of see the future of ABA, like as it morphs into whatever it's going to be in the future, if you could prognosticate?
I haven't really thought about that much, to be honest with you. I just thought about I think about the growth of quality ABA. So I like to grow into a bigger facility where we offer more services to clients. I really believe in parent training and support, because these clients live in their homes and that's where they spend majority of their time. So if we're not helping their parents be able to understand their children and teach them, then I don't feel that we're really doing our job. Um,
Got it.
so I hope that the field grows more with that mindset as well.
And just kind of embracing that feedback loop, right? Like seeing what's working, what's not working, and evolving from there.
Yes. Yes. We have to do it together collaboratively, because if we don't have a communication with everyone, then we're not going to know what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong.
Tell me a little bit more about how it works with parent involvement. Like, do you see better outcomes when the parents are involved? And are there skills that you can teach with them? Are you doing workshops with the parents or anything like that? I'm just curious how that works with your
Mhm.
business.
So, absolutely, we deliver at least one parent coach in a week for each client. And that can be with or without the client present. Usually the client is present. And then sometimes it looks like just having a conversation with the parent about how they're feeling that day. Sometimes the parent just needs to vent to you, and because you're the only person that understands in their life what it's like to be with their child. Sometimes it's coaching them along when the child is either having a tantrum or trying to brush their teeth. And it's just, coaching the parent verbally or gesturally, like on how to interact with their child. So the hands-on approach. Sometimes it's just modeling what it is that they need to do, and that's all they need. We definitely see a dramatic difference if there's a parent that is very involved as opposed to a parent that's not involved, because there's a lot more carryover from when we're not there, and then they build up a confidence, when they're with their child. Some of these parents are like afraid of their children, and it's very sad. I just can't imagine being afraid of your child, especially when they're like 3 or 4. And then we do offer bi-monthly parent training, group parent training. And this current one in April, it's on April 1st. It is about haircutting because a lot of kids with autism don't like to get their hair cut. So we do have a hairdresser that is coming that she works primarily with kids with autism, and she is going to show parents different ways to be able to help your child get through a haircutting session, how to desensitize them, showing them the tools. And she's going to have like a model, and show what she does on that.
Uh, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited about that one. We know that's going to be a big hit because that's a very big need for our clients and the
Yeah.
community. So these are all also open to the community. You don't have to be a client of ours to come to the group parent trainings. We invite everybody to come. You just have to call or email us and let us know that you're coming. And we offer free childcare while you're there, because some parents can't go to these things because they don't have a babysitter to watch their child.
So you do those in your office, is what you're saying. So most of the client work is done at the home, but sometimes you do the community stuff in your office. Is that what you're saying?
So we are lucky to be able to use the Grange, which is kind of like American Legion, free of charge. And we hold those. We hold big trainings and group trainings there.
Yeah.
My
So
space
if you
is
were
way too small. It's only like
yeah.
750 square feet. That's no
It'd be
way.
little quarters.
Oh yeah, we're like squished here.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, this has been very, very interesting. Learned quite a bit. Anybody wanted to reach out to you and find out more about your services, connect with you, how would they do that?
They can go to my website, which is qualityaba.com. They could email us at info@qualityaba.com. Or if they want to talk directly to me, it could be Capuano, Capuano, at qualityaba.com. Or finally, they could call us at phone.
Well, fantastic. I've really enjoyed our time together this morning, Maria, and look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you, Marcos. It was fun to be on here. Thank you.